We have some news breaking on the story we brought you at the top of the hour, the turmoil atop the FBI. Two sources familiar with the matter telling NBC News that Deputy Director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, may be leaving his job after a heated confrontation with Attorney General Pam Bondi over his frustration with how the Justice Department has handled the Jeffrey Epstein files. As we reported earlier, Bongino did not come to work today after a heated argument with Pam Bondi Wednesday. Joining us now is my colleague, NBC News White House correspondent Vaughn Hilliard. Also joining us, host of MSNBC's Politics Nation, president of the National Action Network, the Reverend Al Sharpton's here as well. Vaughn, let me read from what you and our colleague Ken Dilanian are reporting. Bongino did not report to work today amid speculation about his whereabouts, the sources said. It came after a heated confrontation Wednesday at a meeting with Pam Bondi and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, during which Bongino and FBI Director Kash Patel were asked about a news story suggesting they were dissatisfied with the decision not to release any additional Epstein files, the sources said. The meeting was first reported by Axios. Take me inside what the suspicion is that Patel and Bongino leaked. I mean, the irony of the polygraph story we started our broadcast with, and you're reporting just now, is that Bondi and Wiles seem frustrated that Bongino and Patel have gone public with their discontent.
And I think in large part it's because of the pressure that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have placed upon themselves, Nicole. We have covered the litany of promises that those two men, upon taking their FBI posts, had made to the American population, that they were going to investigate and reveal everything about Jeffrey Epstein, about the January 6th committee and its investigation. They were going to investigate and reveal who the pipe bomber was. They were going to investigate the 2020 election. And yet we're 7 months in now, and they have come up with effectively nothing on those fronts here. And that is where I am told, along with our colleague Ken Dilanian and Monica Alba, that these two men were frustrated by the feeling that they have been stifled by Attorney General Pam Bondi. Now, to the extent that that is reality, and to the extent that the Attorney General is acting as a shield or actually putting some parameters around their work and their investigations and the basis into them, I think that is the question that each of us are going to have in our reporting here in the days ahead. But these two men, I'm told that Dan Bongino is considering resigning from his post. Kash Patel has not gone as far as to suggest that, but will be looking, I'm told, at how Dan Bongino responds to this. I'm told that both men meet with the Attorney General on a daily basis, and that they have not kept their displeasures hidden from her. I know that Pam Bondi was at the White House 1 week ago. They have continued, the White House, to stand behind her as the Attorney General. At some point in time, though, this is going to come to a head, and it may be here in real time, Nicole.
I mean, Vaughn, let me just sift through some of this. I mean, they put pressure on themselves. What do you mean? I mean, these things are not facts. What kind of pressure do they put on themselves? What do you mean?
Dan Bongino, right, and he could leave this job and go back to a podcast that undoubtedly made him a lot of money. He had millions of people that would tune in, hundreds of thousands, depending on which episode you're watching. And for him, dating back to 2022, 2023, you go back to the archives, and he became popular in large part, especially Kash Patel as well. They made money off of these conspiracy theories and saying that they needed to get Donald Trump back into office. And they kept this idea that if they were in the position of the FBI, they would dismantle it, they would reform it, they'd get the corruption out of the FBI, they'd get the longtime prosecutors out of there. You've had these very conversations, and to a large extent, they have upheld the promise of getting rid of top officials that have worked inside of the agency. But when it comes to proving the things that they made money off of for a number of years now, the things that not only they made money off of, but ultimately put them in the position of power, now is the time to serve up the evidence. And so far, they haven't been able to do that.
I mean, Bongino didn't make enough money to buy T-shirts that fit. Vaughn, what is the, I mean, so Bongino feels like there's more and he wants more of the Epstein files released. I mean, that seems like an absolutely catastrophic outcome. I never thought I'd say this, but Donald Trump better hope that Dan Bongino doesn't leave and go back to his podcast where he made millions of dollars attacking the FBI, because his base is about to absolutely spill over, and whatever toxic brew is inside there is about to come spilling out if he leaves of the Epstein files. I mean, what is the degree of alarm from the folks that'll be left holding the bag?
Okay, I think that's the part, Nicole, that I think that folks need to understand here is that they have gotten severe pushback from MAGA worlds and their base for not providing everything on Jeffrey Epstein. And so in response, they really only have one choice if you're looking at this in some strategical ballgame sense, and that is to effectively shift the blame to somebody else. And that's Attorney General Pam Bondi. And Pam Bondi hasn't done herself any good by handing out those binders to those social media right-wing influencers a couple months ago that ended up having nothing in them. Look at Laura Loomer has suddenly become a voice of, demanding transparency, right? I mean, we know the conspiracy theories that she has continually spewed and spread, and she is she's vile in the way that she describes or calls other people that she perceives as political opponents. But the one thing that she does have going for her is the argument that MAGA has the obligation to uphold to the ideas of the transparency that for the last years they claimed that they would bring if Donald Trump came back into office.
My head's about to explode. I wish so badly that I didn't care about facts, because this would be so much more fun. But what is the fact that Laura Loomer's on the side of the truth? And Pam, is Donald Trump's name, as what's his face, Elon Musk said, is there a belief among MAGA that Trump's name is in the Epstein files? I mean, you're saying that Laura Loomer is on the side of transparency. Bondi is covering it up. What do they believe Bondi's covering up, Vaughn?
They believe that there's a pedophile ring that is going to implicate a ton of other people. This goes back to QAnon conspiracy theories, right? Donald Trump, for this part, there is still this idea that somehow he is the one that was ultimately going to bring this ring to an end. I know that we know the facts completely run counter to that. We know that the two men had a relationship. Donald Trump has acknowledged it himself. But I think that this is where you go to, if you get into the real deep crevices of, the MAGA population of America here. I mean, I think it would take a long time to really dissect just how far and how deep this goes in the belief that these other people were going to be implicated.